Welcome back to Mark and Nick's Excellent Film Podcast. I'm Mark.
And I'm Nicholas.
And today we watched Jaws 3D in 2D.
Yeah, no 3D glasses here.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a home video release with it in 3D. There's been bootleg versions of it in 3D, but other than that, no. And I still don't really like this movie, so I wouldn't go through the effort of doing that.
I was fully willing to bring my red-blue glasses here.
Yeah. This movie sucks. It's pretty fucking bad right from the get-go. The cinematography is shit. The title sequence, like the title layouts, are garbage.
Yeah, all of the font is terrible.
Yeah.
There's a great part in the beginning credits where it shows, because it's still based on the book Jaws. It has based on the book Jaws, and Jaws is underlined, and it just completely fucks up the font.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and we also have our first 3D effect of a fish head circling around, and it looks like 3 different shots.
Yeah.
And
it's something. There's so many terrible ones in this movie, because if you watch this, they all have a very specific look every time they're going to be using 3D, and most of them are atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
But I do kind of like the last one where the jaws float up.
Oh.
I thought just because it's like so campy.
Yeah,
like, this is nice.
Yeah. So I watched this movie a lot as a kid because I was stupid. As a kid, I watched a lot of bad movies, so I had a select amount of VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And so you had to deal with what you had. I had all the Star Wars movies that were out in 1999 to 2000.
Mm-hmm.
I had all the Batman movies and the animated series episodes. I had Superman movies, and I had the Jaws movies and Jurassic Park movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched Jaws 3 a lot because
Did you
something you had to do.
Did you have a lot of the classic Disney stuff too?
Yeah, but I wasn't huge on Disney as a kid. I liked a handful.
Mm-hmm. And
I rewatched Hercules a lot, and Peter Pan and Fantasia and Snow White, but I didn't watch Cinderella and shit.
Yeah,
much.
we had our own VHSs at home, and then we went to my grandmother's constantly, and she had obviously her own collection. And the only ones I remember were Aristocats, because I would fall asleep every time. And then there was this one that was natural disasters.
Yeah, that
was straight fire. It was so good.
Yeah, I mean, I had a ton of VHSs because even as a kid, I was a collector.
Mm-hmm.
I had Max Keeble's Big Move.
Oh, that movie was so good.
Mm-hmm. I had a bunch of Scooby Doo stuff.
We had
Scooby Doo Zombie Island.
We had the Rugrats.
Yeah,
I remember because it was an orange VHS.
I didn't have that. I had
my mom loved the Rugrats, so we got into it really early.
Yeah, I had Titanic.
we had Pearl Harbor because it was a 2 VHS movie.
Yeah, so was Titanic.
Oh yeah.
And if you put in my Titanic VHS from when I was a kid, I guarantee you it will be on the scene where Rose is being drawn.
I was gonna say, it just has that. Isn't it if you rewind a VHS too much in one area, it kind of makes it scratchy? That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's probably incomprehensible at this point.
It just skips the scene now.
Yeah, I mean, so here's a cool little side tangent. I really want to do a James Cameron marathon at one point on the show because I love James Cameron. But I remember when I saw Titanic as a kid, that was the first time I saw boobs, and I was like, oh. Whoa. And I remember I became obsessed with Titanic because of it. And so I'd have my family buy me books about the Titanic because I thought there was going to be boobs in them. So I know all this stupid Titanic knowledge only because I was a really horny little boy.
That's funny. There's just as the other side of that. The first movie I saw boobs in was my dad had us watch Caddyshack as a family.
Oh my god!
It was my dad, my mom, my brother, and I.
How old were you?
Way too young.
5 or 10?
Probably 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And we were all hanging out. It was actually in their bedroom. And my mom would keep being okay, close your eyes. Sean, why are you showing this?
Yeah. That was my mom when she was showing horror movies as a kid. But another obviously had a big VHS collection I had was James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Had to do it.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, this is Jaws 3. This movie sucks. It's a SeaWorld movie. It came out in 1983. A shark breaks into SeaWorld. It's a good concept.
Yeah, it's a concept I really liked it. I was kind of surprised that SeaWorld would be like, let's do this. Let's have a horror movie that's in SeaWorld.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to have been a fly on the wall in that pitch meeting.
Yeah.
Hey, we want to show that your park is dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Jurassic Park thing, we could do that for SeaWorld.
Yeah, 10 years prior.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Well, the book was out.
Well, what's funny is that 10 years before this, Michael Crichton, the writer of Jurassic Park, he made a movie in 1973 called Westworld, which is about a park that
the robots,
go,
right?
yeah, they go haywire and start killing people in the park. It's like
That's
guy's got one idea. He keeps doing it.
There's the Westworld show I really liked. I think you might actually. Mark's not a huge TV guy. I think you might like the first season of Westworld.
Yeah, I hear the first season's good. That's the thing about me in TV is that the show has to be good throughout, or I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
Or
just
it needs
pretend
to be,
the rest doesn't exist.
Or it needs to be something like silly, like Kids in the Hall, and it's a sketch comedy thing. I can get behind that.
And you can just jump in a random episode.
Exactly. Like I don't have to marathon Kids in the Hall.
Yeah.
But I do.
Didn't that just come back too?
It did. Kids in the Hall rocks. Yeah, I think you would like it a lot.
I want to check it out. I wasn't a huge fan of like Whitest Kids You Know, and I want to watch a lot of the Monty Python stuff, but I like sketch comedy, so
you would love Kids in the Hall. Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
and it just also random. I watched the new Jackass with Dennis. It's pretty good. They're definitely looking old.
They are looking old, but the cock monster is fantastic. Anyway,
fantastic.
We're just like delaying talking about this piece of shit.
We just don't want to talk about it.
Because then I know I'm gonna write it, and then we're gonna get mad.
A lot of the stuff in here is like a decent idea. There's like honestly,
it's just terrible direction.
Yeah, and the editing is awful in this. The idea of having them catch a shark that's not the main shark obviously isn't new. They do it in the original Jaws, but for some reason it feels really fresh in this. For it to be like, oh my god, the mom's here.
Well, I think it's because we have a whole scene here of them trying to catch it. And
yeah, I guess it just kind of hard cuts to the dock with the shark on it in the first one. Like, oh, look, got him.
I think this movie has terrible direction. Like, it's really well casted in most parts, but it's like
most.
I would say so. I think the Dennis Quaid was a good choice for Mike.
Yeah.
I think that Lou Gossett Jr. was great as the owner of the park. I think that the smarmy British guy played by Sam Mc something.
Is that the one who dies or the one who lives?
The one who dies.
I like the guy who lives way better.
Yeah.
I think his character's name's Jack.
Yeah. I think Sean is casted well. Only people I don't think are casted well is Mike's girlfriend, really.
Yeah,
because she's bad. She's real bad.
And she was Back to the Future, right?
No, that's Sean's girlfriend.
Is she in anything? Or?
I don't remember her in any other movie, and I've seen like every movie ever made. So
definitely have seen more than I have.
Yeah, so I don't think this woman actually exists. She's like a poor man's version of Olivia Newton-John from Grease.
Oh, yes. I think I was just remembering we said she looked like the girl from Grease.
Yeah. The writing in this is trying, but it's so the directing is so bland. Everything looks so flat. Most of the shots are out of focus.
There's an atrocious one like halfway through the movie where I was like, wow, this is out of focus. And Mark goes, the dude in the background is in focus. And he's probably like 15 feet behind the conversation that's happening.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there like twiddling his thumbs.
Yeah. There's also some weird dialogue, and I feel like the director doesn't know how to direct people because the interactions between everybody, no matter what point we are in the movie, seem like they've never talked to each other ever in their lives.
Yeah.
Or they don't know what a human is. Where there's a point where Mike is revealed. He comes on a jet ski wearing the Red Sox hat, go Sox, and he
Boston.
Yeah, Boston. And he walks up to this girl and he's like, "Hey, have you seen what's the lead girl's name? Lead girl, Bess Armstrong. Where is she?" And she's like, "Oh, she's in the tank with Shamu or whatever."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Mike, where are your boots?" He's like, "I only wear them to bed and in the shower." And she like looks at him like, "What?" And he goes like, "So she's out back?" And she goes, "Yeah." And then they hold on each other for a second and then they walk away. And I'm like, what was that interaction?
Yeah, this is not human. You
think that like on the day, like the director would have saw that scene and he would be like, "All right, yeah, that doesn't work. Let's change that. Let's just be, where is she? She's over there. Cool."
Yeah, I like the idea that Dennis is just like so coked out that's like take 15. And he's like, just press that one.
Yeah,
I'm done with this.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a good line anyway.
Opposite. It's very awkward.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing to say to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, well, not the "where's your boots?" It's the I only wear them to bed in the shower.
Yeah.
But he's doing it so seriously that it doesn't come out. He should have been like, "Oh, I'm wearing, I only wear my boots to bed in the shower. Thank you very much." He has to be more sarcastic about it, but it's like he's just like, "I only wear them to bed in the shower," and it's like, all right, you fucking freak. Like, what's the matter with you?
Okay.
Yeah. So Mike Brody is like all right, yeah, there's this thing about the gates is like stuck open, and so he's like he runs like a construction company, I think.
Yeah, that's done all the underwater construction for
SeaWorld.
Yeah, for this new SeaWorld park that's opening.
Yeah. Something in the lagoon it's called.
And
Creature. Yeah, and Mike's dating a woman who is like in charge of,
I think she's head biologist, I think they say.
Is she?
I think so.
I'll accept that.
I'm pretty sure somebody says it. Yeah, somebody says it when she jumps in the tank.
Okay.
To save the shark.
Yeah. And they're just like talking about nonsense, and then they walk away and they see the head of the place, Cal, and he's played by Gossett Jr., probably is the best performance in the film, because he's the best actor in the film. And we meet Sam McCormandale and his British friends, and they're like these weird hunter, filmmaker, documentarian people, whatever. But no, who cares about them when we have Sean Brody, who's going to be a very, very important part of this movie. I can tell you now, he's going to be so important. He's going to be in this scene, a scene coming up, and then there's going to be an hour of the film that he's not in. And then he's going to show up in 2 scenes, and he's going to go away.
Yeah, So there's this scene, the bar scene, the first lagoon. Time he goes in the water, and then it jumps all the way to the bumper boats, right?
Yeah, well, he wakes up the next morning hungover.
Oh, yeah. And I think the hangover scene's good, but I like the beach scene.
Oh, yeah. My thing is, I think Sean's actually like one of the best characters in the thing because he's the only one who has the dramatic need.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of them have a dramatic need, but like in terms of like he has a character thing where it's just like, oh, Sean is scared of the water.
Yeah.
And and he needs to overcome that fear. So shouldn't he be in the ending? But he's not. He's like, oh, my girlfriend got hit by a shark. I'm gonna go in that thing. Like, I still want the water.
Go.
Yeah, even though in the next movie I'm gonna like the water anyway. I don't know. Also, there's a shitty effect when this guy, one of Mike's construction dudes, is like breathing underwater somehow. He's holding his breath for fucking like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And he gets eaten by the shark, and they have like this really shitty shot of his arm just floating in the water.
It's just another case of those like clearly shot for 3D scene. Yeah. It's just so bad. It's like dragging clip art.
But if we want to get really technical about this, so he's missing the arm, right?
Yeah.
And the arm is floating. Cool. Gotcha. Later on, the body shows up, and it has an arm. It's missing the other arm. So that means the shark didn't actually eat him at all. It just ripped off his arm. And what?
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. The shark does not eat anything of him. He's just like, haha, I got your arm and it's left.
That tastes like shit.
Yeah.
Wow, that wasn't a seal. I'm going to do that over and over again.
But yeah, basic plot stuff. I'm going to run through this fast because I don't like it. There's a shark in SeaWorld. They go to investigate what's going on because they don't know that there's a shark in SeaWorld. They find out what happened to this guy who just got eaten. They find a shark instead. They decide to keep the shark in captivity. Well, the main girl decides to do that. Brody British guy and Cal believe that they should kill it, but she's like, "We're SeaWorld. We should be the only people that have a shark in captivity, a great white shark." And it's like a great white shark can't be in captivity; it will die.
Yeah, not while we were watching. It was probably like Shark Week or something last year. I was reading a Wikipedia article about why there's no great white sharks in captivity, and it's like nobody knows why they just like die. I think the record's like a month of having one in captivity, and they just can't survive not in the ocean.
Yeah,
and this movie kind of shows that.
Yeah,
which is nice, but they also swim backwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the first time we see the shark swims backwards faster than it swam forwards. Yeah. We also have they go through this whole rigmarole to catch the shark. They catch the shark, and then the shark wakes up and scares Mike at one point. Mike has no fear of sharks, which is weird. Because Mike, in the first one, went into shock because he saw a shark. Yeah. And in the second one, he almost got eaten by a shark. And then a bunch of his friends got eaten by sharks.
In front of him. And he goes into like shock in the second one too when he's up by himself.
No, that's Sean.
Oh yes, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah. Mike hits his head. And he's like, he wanted to come. That's okay, wasn't it? No, your bro's gonna get eaten by a shark.
Yeah, we're gonna make you watch.
Yeah. But he has like no fear of sharks. But Sean is like petrified, which makes sense. Like, they should both be petrified. Mike should not be working at SeaWorld.
Mike should be trying to convince them to not have it be open to the ocean and have it be like a closed environment.
But he's not. Anyway, they catch the shark. The shark dies in captivity. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they try giving Simon McCormandale like a thing where he's like, "I now see the error of my ways. I now see that the shark should have been in the ocean, not in captivity."
Yeah. Just a little bit of a random thing, but the line's coming up in the movie right now where they're talking about him going to... Oh, no. Oh. We could talk about that later if you want. The Venezuela job that Mike got, that has literally nothing... There's no payoff for that. She goes, "I'll go with you," in a super inappropriate time. And then that's it.
They probably would decide to kind of give them like a thing that they needed to work out, but they don't discuss it enough.
They don't discuss it at all.
They discuss it like twice.
Okay.
Where like she brings up to her on the beach.
Probably clocked out.
Well, he brings it up to her on the beach, and he's like, "Want to go?" And she's like, "I don't know. I'm happy for you though." And then like later on they talk about it, and she starts talking to the dolphins. "What do you want? Do you want to learn Spanish, Uncle Mikey? Huh?" And then later on, when there's people dying, she's like, "I'll go with you," because obviously my career at SeaWorld is over. Because I'm the one who was like, "Hey, we should keep a fucking shark in here."
It's a great point.
Like, she's fucked. Like, there's no like obviously you're gonna go with him now because there's no way your reputation's coming back from that.
Yeah, let's escape to South America.
I convinced this guy who could kill sharks for like very easily, and he proved that he could. That we shouldn't kill it. We should keep it in captivity. This will piss off its fucking giant mom, and I got him killed, and I got almost a bunch of innocent people killed. Yeah. Like, nah, her career is over, dude. What was I saying before that?
You're just going through the dialogue. Well, the story. Point for point
yeah, the shark dies. And then they find
the baby shark.
Yeah, baby shark. Then we find the guy who got eaten's body, and they look at it and they're like, "Oh my god, oh my god!" They put it together in their heads that the shark, there's another shark in the park. It's like it's his mom, which there's no evidence to do that. If they saw the shark at one point, then I could buy it, but they didn't. And then the shark attacks. People get trapped. Mike needs to go down and weld some shit, and then the shark attacks at the end, and we end the movie. We have the worst effect in cinema history, where
it's so bad.
The shark breaks through the glass. Also, Sean and his girlfriend are on a bumper boats, and then she gets scratched by a shark, and then he's just like, "I'm just gonna go to the hospital with her." And I'm like, "Cool, we wrapped up Sean's arc."
Yeah.
Nothing happened. Nothing of note. But yeah, now we can talk about...
His fear is just confirmed.
Yeah, so you can see it's a movie that has good ideas, but it's so muddled in its execution where it's just like, oh, let's not explain anything. Let's just keep going. Move, we're moving.
Yeah.
Jaws is an hour, a 2 hour and like maybe 10-minute movie. This is an hour and 40 minutes. Not enough time to develop this shit.
Especially when you don't spend time developing anyone, like
exactly.
attempting to.
Well, it's also Jaws developed 3 characters.
Yeah.
And also a bunch of side characters.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to do that in 2 hours. This one has... They try to have 5 or 6 main characters.
Yeah.
And none of them are developed because of it. Like, she doesn't have, like, a change. She's just like, I was right the whole time. And she's not right. She's dumb. She wants to put a shark in captivity. You're dumb.
Yeah, nobody has, like, arcs.
Yeah. Instead, by the end, she starts the same place she was at in the beginning. She's like, my dolphins! And Mike...
Oh, man. You just reminded me of that final shot.
Yeah. Mike's arc doesn't happen because he's like, he was right the whole time.
Mm-hmm. That's it. He's just confirmed.
Yeah. Cal is just like a shitty version of the mayor, but he doesn't really have any comeuppance other than his nephew. His nephew gets eaten, but he doesn't seem really too concerned about that. And Sean has nothing. Sean's girlfriend, played by Leah Thompson from The Masterpiece, Howard and the Duck, and also some movie called Back to the Future. Has nothing. She's like not even a character. She just like is really horny. Yeah.
Wants to make him go in the water.
Yeah.
And then loves her job
she's
jet
the top
ski person.
She's the top.
She's the top.
She's the top. No, she's the top of the pyramid on the jet skis.
Yeah. Which they do around the lagoon. It just reminded me of there's this whole, like, what do you think, like 5-minute sequence of them trying to get everybody out of the water.
Oh yeah, and Dennis Quaid's going, and then he's always wondering why no one's getting out of the water. It's because you're fucking screaming incoherently, and also they're on a fucking boat. There's a motor.
Yeah, there's so many things where I'm like, why there would be a system in place to shut down in the case of an emergency. Mm-hmm. It's like just pull the fire alarm.
Yeah,
like you could evacuate this place.
That's a false fire.
Yeah,
thing. That's like, isn't that jail time?
Just light a tree on fire and then pull it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna charge myself with arson.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's this weird thing where Sean's playing this game called Standoff. They take Sean to a bar. And there's this game of people lightly pushing each other, like their hands, as if that's a game.
Was this bar in the park?
I think so.
Because I was going to say, I think it was like all employees who were there.
Yeah. The whole film takes place within the park.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we ever have a scene where we leave the park.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
We see the other side of the gate, kind of.
Yeah.
The ocean side.
Maybe Mike's house is outside of the park. That's probably it.
Nah.
He's got a nice house though.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a game called Standoff, and he's like, and Sean's like, hey, they're playing Standoff, and Mike says, Sean is a self-described king of Standoff. He's the king of New England. He's the undefeated king of New England. He's like, and the Western states.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
God, I hated that.
Okay, this is a game that's not real. How can he be the king of it?
You
and why
pushed
are they playing
a girl.
Yeah, and then he goes and plays her, and she's like winning. He goes, my flying's open, and then he pushes her to the ground, and she's like, that's not fair. And it's like, well, the game is to push you on the ground.
Yeah, he's like, deception's part of it.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I know how that beer you owe me. I'll buy you that beer plus my own beer and a second beer to get you drill drunk.
It's weird because normally it would be your fly is down and you look and get knocked over. But instead, he says my fly is down.
Yeah, she wants to see that dick.
Yeah.
That Sean Peen.
Yeah.
There's
a really good, I think it's in the Hangover scene, when he's like, I was this close, and he holds up his fingers like 2 inches apart to having sex in the ocean. And then his brother's like, oh, this close? And I thought that made the movie for me. 5 stars.
The chemistry, the 4 stars. The chemistry between the brothers is good, and it's like, it's almost like what it should have been.
Yeah, yeah. They have good chemistry.
It should have been about the brothers.
Beach stuff is good.
Mike shouldn't have been a construction worker. Sean should have been the construction worker. Mike should have been a marine biologist.
Oh, dude, that would have been so much better. Sean goes, yeah, I wasn't interested in that because fuck water.
Yeah.
I ain't going near that.
Yeah. And yeah, yeah, he's a construction worker and stuff, and he's reluctantly working at SeaWorld, you know, with his brother.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just following his brother around type thing.
Yeah.
I could like that. What else is there?
What else happens in this movie? Oh yeah, there's these two guys who are breaking into SeaWorld to go find some fucking shells or something.
I think it's coral.
Coral?
They have a buyer in Miami who will give us $200 for the good stuff.
Well,
I don't know why that line is burned in my head, but
it's just the idea that, like, I feel like if they got caught, there's a bigger fine.
Yeah.
Than whatever the money they're gonna get.
Yeah.
They're breaking into SeaWorld in the middle of the night to go underwater when they don't even have a fucking air tank.
Bro, it's Florida.
I stand corrected. But the idea that, like, they don't even have a fucking, like, air tank, and they're going under. He's gonna go underwater to swim to the bottom of this lagoon to find some coral for $200 that he has to split with another guy.
Yeah.
Like,
we can use the money to buy air tanks.
we can use the money to buy another raft that we just used. That's probably more expensive than $200.
Yeah, they had gear. They had a nice flashlight.
Yeah.
That probably attracted Jaws.
Yeah, and they get killed, and then the funniest thing about it is that fucking the shark eats the raft. Because it's like no witnesses, no evidence.
Mark said no witnesses, and it got me really good. I imagine the shark being an assassin.
Yeah. But yeah, like, this should have been about Sean and Mike. You don't need the romance thing because, like, I get, like, romance is good for films to sell things, but, like, at the same time, this is a Jaws movie. The giant shark sells it itself.
Yeah. So I'm sure you're aware of the knock gaze, of the 80s and 90s where they would just write a love interest and stuff so that you knew it wasn't a gay couple with two main, like...
Oh, you mean like Top Gun?
Yeah, like Top Gun, or like Bill and Ted's like a perfect example of it, where it's like, oh, just give them a, like, you don't even know their name, love interest, and they're not gay.
Yeah. Well, I think they're just brothers.
Yeah,
and then I think Sean.
I don't think you need it if it's a brother relationship. So just have that.
I also think like if you need like some female characters, you bring in their mom, because I guarantee she probably wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, or you can make the person who owns SeaWorld a woman.
Yeah. Or you can keep Sean having his girlfriend. Like, that's a fine thing. Like the idea that he's dating someone in the park who's like doing one of the things, and like. She's like in the water. He's like, I'm only here to do my construction stuff. Like, Sean never goes in the water. He's just telling people what to do in the water. And they're like, Sean, well, why don't you do it? He's like, because I don't like to swim.
Yeah, he goes, how many times do I have to tell you this stupid shark story?
Yeah, I watched a girl get eaten whole in front of me when I was fucking 10 years old. Yeah. And that was 5 years ago. I'm now 30. Yeah, I love the dramatic aging up of the characters,
because it wasn't the worst in 2. It was pretty. I think it was more the timeline was fine, but they chose the wrong actor.
Yeah, with Sean it made sense because Sean was like 5 or 6 in Jaws, and then he's like 10 in Jaws 2, so that works, that fits. 4 years later, you can make the argument that Mike is like 12 or 13 in Jaws, and then he's like 16 in Jaws 2. That's fine.
Yeah,
it works.
And now
Mike's
40.
Mike's now like 30, and Sean's like 20 something. Like 20. He's at least 21. He's drinking beer.
Yeah, and they say he's in college.
Wait, wasn't the alcohol age of drinking 18 in the 80s?
Then? Yeah, I think it was.
Okay.
They say he's in college, so he would be like 19, 20.
Yeah. How many years is this since 2?
I don't know.
78 to 83?
78 to 83 would be 5.
Yeah, so no. This doesn't work.
Yeah.
Sean would be 15.
Ugh.
And Mike would be probably in college still.
Yeah, because I don't think they say in like canon how long ago anything was.
Yeah.
They say their parents live on an island still.
Yeah, Mike would not be running a fucking construction company.
Yeah. He could work for one maybe. But.
Yeah. But yeah, I would have them be Marine like brothers just hanging, like they both conveniently working at SeaWorld. Like Mike got Sean's company the job, and you make it maybe a thing where Sean's company is struggling, and that also gives like a reason why, like, oh, that's why a lot of the shit isn't working.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Like they're cutting corners.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I got you this job. Stop cutting corners.
Yeah, and it's not even Sean; it's just the people he works for. It's like they got Sean's company to do it.
Yeah.
But Sean's company sucks.
Yeah, I like that.
And then Mike is a marine biologist. Fuck it, age him up. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. It makes more sense to age him up.
Yeah. And you have the girlfriend character for Sean. You don't need it for Mike. Because Mike is the girlfriend character now, and Sean is the Mike character. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that right there that simplifies a lot of things. Also, I would get rid of the British guy. There would be a like sub-in character, but it would not be him. Who would it be? It'd be Matt Hooper from Jaws 1.
And should have been in 2.
Yeah. So what I would do is Matt Hooper wrote a book about what happened in Jaws.
He's making Blackfish.
Yeah. Well, he wrote a book about what happened in Jaws, and basically he goes on these tours to like different places and gives like speeches about things. And he's like, "Oh, it's the Brody boys. How's your father? My dad died. He had a heart attack." Oh, that's what explains why Roy Scheider's not in the movie. And sorry for your loss. I loved your father. Blah blah blah. And he was like, "Yeah, cool." And then you basically make him a dick, where he's kind of full of himself. He's lost his way. He's no longer like a good guy, really.
That's pretty good. Yeah, the fame got to him.
Yeah. It's like
guy writes one book.
Yeah. And then he's like, I can't believe they're making a movie about it. And this guy, Steven Spielberg, is gonna make it. Can you believe that?
They're gonna have I can't do.
They're gonna have a cop from the movie French Connection play him. Gene Hackman, no, the other one. You know, and then whatever, who cares? And then, you know, you have to have him have his arc where like he's the one pushing for the shark to be in captivity.
Yeah.
So it's his fault.
Yeah. Man, I could sell a lot of books if we did a book signing with an actual shark here.
Yeah. And he's like, also my documentary about great whites, blah blah blah. Yeah. And they're gonna be like, oh well, it's probably gonna fucking be not a good idea. Remember what happened last time we encountered a shark? Remember when people killed? He's like, yeah, well, remember who stopped that? Yeah, my dad, not you. You hid behind a fucking rock.
Hey, yeah. He was just looking for his glasses under there. Well, the shark knocked my glasses off, so I hid underwater for
Hooper's
20
just the
minutes.
Velma of Jaws. Yeah.
He's just tapping along the seafloor.
Yeah. My glasses.
Holy
I can't
shit,
see
I
without my
found
glasses. And then, you do the thing, and then basically you have to have a Hooper redemption arc at the end where he ends up giving himself. Yeah, and he has the grenade in his hand.
Shoot it.
And then they pull the grenade out of his hand and it blows the shark up. It's,
I can dig it.
Simple fixes. It's like a thing, and it's like also if you're going to have it take place at a park, you need to have more park mayhem.
Yeah, there's a lot of the park stuff. Like, I guess they have the underwater tunnel failure thing.
But no one dies.
Yeah. Yeah, I want the innocents to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to have repercussions, because then that's what Hooper. So you don't even need. Honestly, you don't even need the owner of the park. Like the owner of the park could be like a secondary thing. He's just like, yeah, we're doing this thing for Hooper. Cool, whatever.
Yeah.
We don't need. But
this will be good publicity.
Yeah. So, but Hooper's like the main antagonist of the film, and then you have. But then, so like when like he's seeing all these innocent people getting killed by the shark and the fucking thing, and maybe you have it be more than one shark. You up the stakes a little bit. There's like multiple sharks.
Yeah.
Like
there's a lot of sharks in this movie. Like one that actually does stuff.
Yeah, you have like a multiple shark, like family of sharks, and because the movie's theme is about family of sharks.
They have little distinct differences.
Yeah.
Like the Scarface shark comes back, and
Yeah, one of them's got a barrel on his back. They're coming back. Yeah,
that'd be so. Oh God, I would hate that. That'd be so good.
Because then you can have like a scene of Hooper, like in like one of like the viewing tanks. And you can see like the underwater lagoon facility being cracking and like sinking. You're seeing like not only the sharks like eating people, like people are drowning.
Mm.
And you have like that moment where like you hear like the screaming and stuff, and Hooper like, "What have I done?" Or it's like he has that moment of like, "Oh wait,
Yeah.
I'm Hooper. I'm not supposed to be like this."
Yeah, I'm the cool guy.
Yeah, he has like Quint in the back of his head being like, you suck.
You suck, bro.
And then you have Mike Brody kind of give him like that look of like, this is like your fault.
You're lucky I'm dead.
No, Mike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's simple. And then Hooper's like, all right, this is what we got to do. So we're going to kill the shark. And he does it, but it costs him his life. And by the end, you have Mike, and he comes out of the water with Sean, and they're both like exhausted. And then they're like, where's the dolphins?
I don't know. Dolphins, I think it was a little cute SeaWorld thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what if the orca fought Jaws?
Dude.
Oh. Shamu versus Jaws.
That's how it ends. The shark kills him.
It ends with Jaws winning.
Yeah. I meant the Shamu kills Jaws.
Oh, and then I was like, what? Like Mike has to put Shamu down from his injuries?
Yeah. No, the shark bites Shamu's limp fin because it's because he's not healthy because he's in captivity.
Yeah, instantly I was like, oh look, the dorsal fin flop thing that everybody, it's like the key sign of like what happens to animals in captivity.
Yeah,
like look how happy it is, and it's just crying.
But it's little flopped fin hooks onto the grenade and pulls it out and swims away as Jaws blows up.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hooper's like, Shamu, come bite this.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. That's my pitch off the cuff, my off the cuff pitch.
I got an idea for you.
Yeah, my off the cuff pitch of Jaws 3 out of nowhere. But
I'm excited for 4.
Yeah, there's like other things about this movie I want to talk about though. Like there's like this weird scene where the girlfriend of the guy who gets eaten like throws his bags at Mike, like it's Mike's fault that this guy isn't like that this guy's like having an affair in her mind, and he's just like, she's like, if he don't sleep in, he don't live in.
It is a weird scene. I guess it's kind of necessary.
It is necessary because that's how they know he's missing.
Yeah,
but like it's just shot weird and it's acted weird, and it's like I said, it's acted like these people have never met each other before in their lives.
Yeah, and she's only there for just this one bit.
Yeah, this movie has a very CW look to it. Does that make sense to you?
It's super flat.
Yeah, I just think Florida looks like that. Florida just looks like a CW show to me. And I think it's because I watched a lot of there was a pilot back in 2006 for an Aquaman show that never got picked up. But I remember I went to Best Buy once and they just gave me a disc of this pilot, and I watched it a lot because
Best Buy or like Blockbuster.
It was Best Buy.
Wow, that's so weird.
Yeah, it's because I was like, oh, Smallville, and I was like, I like that show kind of. It's okay. And the guy was like, oh, you like that show? Check out this.
Yeah, he opens his jacket and pulls out a home burned DVD.
It pretty much was. Like it had like this little it was like a CD pouch.
Great.
And I was like, oh, cool. And he was like, do you like Aquaman? I was like, kind of. Like,
the fish guy?
Well, at the time I was super into comic books, but even then I was like, because my mom wasn't and my dad weren't around and no one was around me, and I was like, yeah.
They only warned me about candy.
And he was like, oh, well, there's this cool Aquaman thing. And I was like, Aquaman, that's cool. He was like, yeah, do you want it? And I was like,
What do I have to do for it?
I was like, I don't have money. And he was like, no. And he just handed me it, like, just take it. And I was like, okay. And then I went home and I watched it. And I was like, this is actually pretty good. And then I went online and it was like, it's not getting picked up for any more episodes. And I was like, why did I do this?
Like, man.
But that's just me, everybody. Another scene I want to talk about is when they find the body. The body floats up. Floats up, and this everyone's like, oh shit, and then this girl starts screaming, but this guy comes over behind her and puts his hand on her back and pushes her towards the glass, and her face is like pressed against this dead body. He's like, ah!
It's insane.
Yeah,
like
in my rewrite that stays
as it should. Her face is pressed against the glass where the dead body's face is pressed against the glass.
Yeah,
and it's just a reaction shot of her screaming at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then another thing I want to talk about is there's a moment where when Simon McCormandale dies, the shark swallows him whole. First off, which is hilarious.
It's not repeated anywhere. It's like just weird convenience that he's the one who gets swallowed whole and has a grenade.
Well, what's funny is that the shark eats two people or a person after that. Where did that guy go?
He goes around them.
Yeah, all right. And Simon McCormandale just stays in there.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you're totally right. Why could they still see his hand with the grenade when somebody else is in there? They can still see his face. Oh, really? Yikes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And like, how did he die anyway? He got crushed?
Yeah, I guess maybe. That's the only thing I could think of. He's nowhere near the teeth when the blood shoots out.
He also has a air canister on him. So in Jaws logic, wouldn't that blow the shark up?
I think it had to be shot though, didn't it?
Okay, that's fair. That's a good argument.
That's all I got.
Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense. But there's a shot from it with inside the shark's mouth. And of Simon McCormandale is rolling around in this mouth of a shark, and he goes like, and like the shark's like whatever they made the inside of the shark is like so like flabby,
like trash bags.
Yeah, and this looks like absolute garbage. Got it? Yeah. This movie sucks.
I'm trying to think of good special effects, but
there's none.
Nothing
There's
crazy.
not a good effect in this movie. The only effective shot is one that you pointed out, is when you have the POV of the shark outside of the glass where like the underwater bar is.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing.
Yeah, it was a good idea, but it looked...
But when they do the reverse shot and you see the shark's gums...
Yeah. They want to show those gums off. They wanted to give it more life, so they're like, I don't know, have them smile.
Yeah. It's terrible. The shark looks way worse than it did in Jaws 1 and 2.
Yeah, that POV shot of the shark swimming up to the window that they're eating dinner in, I liked. And there's a shot where... What's the guy who owns the park?
Cal
is watching the security camera, and it has the grainy quality of a security camera, and then it like hard cuts into just like camera footage of the exact same scene, and I was like, oh, I liked that, and I rewinded it so Mark could like see that cut, and I went,
not good.
That was better the first time.
Yeah, it looks like an overlay, and then it like it's like you're editing a video and you have like an overlay over a shot, but then like you didn't have it pulled on as far, like you didn't have them synced up, so then when the overlay ends, the shot still keeps going.
Yeah,
and it just like kind of disappears.
Dude, that's I just imagine that's what happened, and he went, well, we could actually make it longer and it would look kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nick might like it.
Yeah, the director of this movie only directed this movie. Which
really?
Yeah. He was the art director for Jaws 1 and 2. And I believe he was also second unit director for Jaws 2. He wanted to direct Jaws 2, and they're like, no. And then he also was an art director, I believe, on Escape from New York.
Whoa, wow. That's a good looking movie.
It is.
Those sets are sick.
Yeah.
The first Jaws has really good sets too.
Yeah.
Nothing sticks out in my memory.
And then this one doesn't.
Yeah, this one.
This movie looks like shit. Dude.
I think the control room looked kind of good, but
the control room looks like a shitty
Trek.
version of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
It looked like it's
that model. That model's sick. The model of the park.
Yeah, when I was a kid.
I think it looks cool still. That's like about it, though.
It looks like a rejected Star Wars design.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah, it looks like it's ready for fucking Battlestar Galactica, not fucking,
Not Jaws.
Yeah,
not Jaws. Not my SeaWorld.
Yeah. It does. I do think it's ironic that this is like a Jaws movie, and Steven Spielberg's like, "There's nothing good about the Jaws sequels. Only Jaws is good." But then he kind of just stole this for Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I think that's ironic. I said Alanis Morissette. Is there anything else to talk about with this fucking piece of shit? Oh, yeah, there's a weird like line of dialogue at one point where for some reason they cut to like these girls like doing like training to be like training to be like SeaWorld guides.
Yeah, I think they're the tour guides that are in the tunnels.
Yeah, and then they're like, and like the lady's like, we have a hard dress code. Show any cheek and it'll be back shuffling French fries. And it's just like, I'd probably rather work at McDonald's than work at fucking SeaWorld.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah, I mean they're probably getting paid the same exact amount.
And this way they get to get killed by a shark.
Yeah, and this way they get to outwardly torture animals.
Oh, so the shark breaks one of the like couplings for one of the underwater tunnels, and that becomes a thing because some of the guests get stuck down there. And it's another one of those things where I was like, why don't they already have a plan in action for when this happens? Like the doors close, which that's good. But they like have to build this contraption to put around the problem area. I'm like, wouldn't you have one ready?
Yeah. My favorite thing about that sequence is the tour guide's up in front, and then it turns into, and then they all start running, and then when they cut to the wide of them running, the tour guide is in the middle.
Maybe she's really fast.
No, I'm saying like
really slow.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that like they have like people from like the back of the line now in the front.
I know what wide you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now. I actually liked that wide. I liked the practical effect of the water starting to shoot. I mean, it's nothing complicated, but I liked it.
This movie feels like a 1950s monster movie rather than like the wide of them like run. Like you would never have had like a scene like that, like a wide shot of everyone running towards the camera in like Jaws. No. You would have the camera be shaking and moving to create this tension that you felt like you were there.
Yeah.
Whereas this feels like the way it's shot there is similar to like The Blob. Have you ever seen The Blob? But it rocks. But there's a scene where everyone's running out of the movie theater, and it's literally that exact shot. And I think that's why he's like, it's like I'm quoting this, and it's like, yeah, but you're doing it in the wrong context.
Yeah.
This isn't about a blob. This isn't a silly villain. This is a giant fucking shark.
Yeah, I've seen some of The Blob. I think Red Letter did a thing about The Blob. Probably. Or like talked about it slightly. And I saw a lot of bits of it. And that looked cool.
Yeah.
Was that 50s or?
Mm-hmm. One of Steve McQueen's first movies, I think.
Was he playing it?
He's the main character.
Ah.
He's the main. He's like, I'm 30 years old, but I'm a 16-year-old boy.
God, I wish I'd stopped doing that.
I don't. Kind of.
I just wish some of them. It's pretty far. I personally thought Euphoria was pretty close for most of them, where I was like, I can kind of believe this.
My thing is that I usually I don't like when they cast younger people most of the time, because usually those people grow up to be fucked up. So it's like I think that's why a lot of times they just cast like, it's usually these great movies like by great directors, they cast like the older actors to play teenagers. And and then you're like, yeah, they're not gonna grow up to be fucked up now.
Yeah, and then they do.
Not usually. I mean, yeah, they're in Hollywood, so they're automatically fucked up. Oh, look at that shot. It's so out of focus. It's getting... Oh, my God.
It's the one. It's the scene we were... and if you didn't know, we play the movie in the background while we're talking about it. The scene where we were talking about the guy in the back is in focus, and everybody else is out of focus just popped up.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a gold star.
Yeah. After an hour of Sean not being in the movie, he shows up to Leah Thompson's dancing recital or something, and then she's like, "Hey, I have like some time in between sets. Let's go bumper boats," which is like, one, if you have time between sets, it's probably like 30 minutes. You don't have time to do bumper boats. You have time to eat a sandwich, and even then, like, you better fucking make sure you don't have to pee.
Yeah, and you better make sure there's no shark attack.
Yeah, but then like they're on the bumper boats for a good like 40 minutes, it seems.
Like, I would almost argue longer somehow.
Yeah,
it's insane how long it feels that they're on there.
Yeah,
because so much happens.
They look miserable on there. Like like he's been sitting there. He's like, I'm so done with this. Like he's clearly been out there for like ever.
Yeah,
and she's like, but you're having so much fun. He's like, no, I'm not. And then some guy bumps their boat, and the girl's like, oh, what the fuck? And it's like, you asked to go on the bumper boats. What do you think was gonna happen? Someone bumped your boat. It's a social contract.
I wish the guy freaked out. He's like, what do you mean? What? We're on bumper boats.
Yeah. If I directed, I cast myself. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's your cameo.
Yeah. It's a social contract. We bump each other's boats.
Yeah, like it would be different. It's like maybe somebody fell off. And there's another part too where...
But that happens.
That's a shark though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you bumped somebody in bumper boats and they, like, flew off, I'd probably be like, oh, my bad.
Oh, yeah. But also, like, why are they standing?
I love the idea that Mark's, like, bumper boating on top of somebody who's drowning. It's social contract.
No, it's just they're sitting in they're sitting in their boat, and then someone bumps their boat.
Yeah.
And like nothing happens. They just do a little bump, and he's like, and the guy goes, "Ha ha!" He's enjoying himself.
Yeah, I love the guy too because you can see him coming from the beginning of their conversation. He just slowly comes to the bump. It's probably like 45 seconds or something.
Yeah, it's like seeing Michael Myers in the closet in Halloween. You know that dread.
They really built the suspension in that scene.
Yeah,
suspension.
I'm gonna take that clip and I'm gonna edit some John Carpenter music under it. just to fuck off.
I really want to see him live. Ugh.
John Carpenter, I love that man.
Have you seen him live?
No.
Dennis was going to go because he has a band with his sons that's just all synth stuff, and I want to go so bad, but that man is old. Because they stopped touring because of COVID, but I don't know if they're going to come back, but I want to go to that.
Yeah. We should get Dennis on the show at some point.
Yeah, I've talked to him about it.
Yeah.
At some point, we're going to... Dennis is my brother.
Yeah, it's his brother. We should get him to... We should do a rewatch of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, my God.
Anyway. Also, actually, for the record, I went back and watched Everything Everywhere All at Once again, and I want everyone to ignore all the problems I had with it the last time I watched it, because I watched it and I cried, so it's a banger. 5 stars, no longer 4.5 stars. It's worth the hype. Anyway, Jaws 3, everybody. One more thing I want to talk about is the shit effect at the end of the movie, where so Mike,
the glass one, or?
Yeah,
okay.
So Mike,
I'll let you take this.
Yeah, Mike and his girlfriend get into the control room, and they're like, but then all of a sudden the frame rate goes down.
It like halved.
Yeah. And we go into slow motion, and we see all their frightened reactions, and then we see this little tiny like toy shark superimposed into the background.
No movement.
Yeah, not moving. When a shark...
It's moving. It's just like none of the fins are moving or anything.
Yeah, well, when a shark moves, the back moves. That's how a shark moves. Its tail moves from side to side.
The muscles.
Yeah. This shark is completely still.
It's a cardboard cutout.
Yeah. And it's just slowly making its way toward the control room, and they're all like...
Shark!
And then it like snarls its teeth and it breaks the glass that went from clear to blue out of nowhere, inconspicuously. And
it's a perfect movie.
And all of a sudden, now the shark is inside, but now it can't swim backwards all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's finally accurate.
Yeah. And its tail is just like robotically going.
Yeah. It's like it's an animatronic or something weird.
Yeah, the thing fills up, but it fills up on one side more than the other side.
Yeah, it like for some reason the set is on like a 45.
Yeah.
And it fills like the left corner.
And then Cal's nephew dies, but that's not important because they don't really address it because Cal grabs the girl instead anyway.
I maybe hated him.
Yeah. Well, also Cal's nephew dies, but then his body's no longer in the shark's mouth, but Sean McCormick's is, which was like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's actually a point in the film where they reference the fact that sharks can't swim backwards.
Yeah. They literally go, they have to keep moving forward to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And then have like 4 scenes in this movie where he swims backwards.
Exactly. Like the thing about the shark, doesn't it like it stays within like the the filtration pipe or something?
Yeah. And then just beep beep beep.
So it stays inside a filtration pipe.
Well, wait, how is it hitting it?
It's inside of it, right?
Yeah,
how does it get out? It has to swim backwards then?
Yeah, they lock the door behind it and it swims backwards, but it makes it look like it's like headbutting it to get out because it breaks a lock.
Yeah.
Do you think he's just like backing his ass up into it?
Yeah. Little battering ram.
Yeah, just twerking on it.
Yeah. And then like the shark is like stuck in there. And like Mike, I think Mike sees that the grenade is inside the mouth of the shark, and he looks like he's like, whoa. And she's like, "Oh, I totally know what this means." Like pointing means, and they get like this this giant hook that just happened to be in the control room, and they pull out the grenade.
They pull the pin
out, and then they hide under the table as if that's gonna like stop a grenade. Would that stop a grenade, Nick? Actually.
I don't really understand what kind of grenade they were doing because it's like a special anti-shark grenade because he was like, oh, it explodes up and down. I was like, I don't know what's happening. I don't care.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a lot of like
bullshit.
A lot of talk for something that they immediately put away, and my brain did not think it was going to come back.
Yeah. But anyway, it blows up, and Mike and the girl are unharmed, and we have 2 separate explosions of blood. We have one that's happening on the regular screen, and then we have one that's happening for the 3D screen, where it's a different color of blood, and we have a bunch of teeth fly to the thing.
It's literally Jaws.
Yeah. Get it? Do you get it?
I got it.
Yeah. I clapped. The shark blew up. I know that happened. That happened in Jaws. And then Mike and the girl swim up unharmed from a giant explosion. Cal is not to be seen again, so his arc is not going to be completed.
Yeah.
He saved the girl. Does that mean is that what you're defining as like, oh, he's now a good guy because he saved the girl that he had no choice but to save? Interesting. And then after all these people died, after all this carnage, what is important? The dolphins. Cindy and Sandy. I forgot to talk about the dolphins this entire time, but Cindy and Sandy are these 2 dolphins that are Mike's girlfriend is taken care of, and they know that something's wrong. They don't want to go out into the exercise thing because the shark's there. And then like when Mike and the girl are there trying to find the dead body, they're shaking their head being like, and
they're the
like,
equivalent of droids.
Yeah. Yeah. For those who don't know, my dream is to be a Star Wars alien. And they're like, why are they doing that? And then they ride the dolphins out of there, and then the dolphins are stuck inside the thing at one point. And when she comes out of the thing, she's like, "Huh, all these people died, but Mike, the dolphins, where are the dolphins?" And then one of them shows up, And she's like, "Oh, where's Sandy? Where's Sandy? Where's Sandy?" And then it jumps out of the water, and she goes like, "Yes!"
And it freeze frames with the two dolphins on
that are clearly,
either side of the frame.
that are now significantly smaller than they have been the entire movie,
and clearly outlined from being
superimposed.
Yeah, that was funny. I just could not remember the word superimposed.
This movie sucks.
Yeah, this was rough. I'm excited for the rougher one.
The other one's funnier though.
Oh, okay.
This one just sucks.
It takes the plunge. Oh, you want to do the rating things?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Story. I give it like a 3, honestly.
My story, I'd give a 3. This one, I give a 2.5.
I think
No, I give it a 2.
The strongest part of this movie is the story parts that I liked.
Yeah,
and the couple shots.
I think the reason why I can't give it to the story is because they introduce things and then they don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Well, they'll introduce Mike's promotion and how this is going to affect their relationship, but that's like not really addressed until like people are dying, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go with you." It's like cool. All of Sean's shit, like Sean's scared, like fear of the water, that's never addressed. It's like addressed when he's trying to get laid, and then the girl brings him into the water anyway, and then she brings him on the bumper boats, but like he doesn't have like a thing where he overcomes his fear. So that's like useless. The whole relationship that he has with the girl is just there for her to die, but she doesn't die, so it's fucking completely useless.
No, that's a good point.
Simon McCormandale's arc is stupid because he doesn't do anything really. He's like, "I'm an asshole and I film animals getting killed. Also, I
die."
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, I kind of feel bad that shark died. It's because this girl's upset. Oh dear," and then he dies. It's like no, and then Cal has an arc where he's like, "I'm a businessman. I have the arc of the mayor in the first movie, but I ain't gonna have a satisfying conclusion."
Yep.
So I give this story like a 2 because like the idea is good. It's just like there's no story happening.
Yeah. I definitely see what you mean.
I told you I get heated on these episodes.
Directing is next.
1.
Yeah.
No, fuck it, half.
I'm gonna give it a 1. I feel like usually I can't tell what the problem is. I feel like this one I can tell it's the directing.
Yeah, I mean, there's that shot that's out of focus. It's so egregious. Like, what do you think? Who think you are, the fucking director? If you're on the air,
that guy's an idiot.
Yeah, that was my movie, by the way, everybody. There's a lot of out of focus shots in it. My B.
Just get better. Acting.
2.5.
Yeah, I'm thinking 2.5 because there's a couple.
Cal's the best. Gossett Jr. is the best part, but he has nothing to do.
I mean, this is like later on, but he's definitely the standout performance.
Yeah, but he has nothing to do.
Yeah, and the little stuff that he does have to do is great.
Yeah,
he definitely acted in this. He didn't phone it in.
Yeah. The best actors are Lou Gossett Jr., the Australian guy.
Yeah, I like Jack a lot.
And Sean. Dennis Quaid is way too coked out.
Yeah. I think he did well with his brother. I don't know how much of that was his brother's acting, but...
Well, it's because him and the girl have no chemistry whatsoever.
Yeah, that makes sense, too.
She's, like, devoid of chemistry with anybody,
She has more chemistry with the dead shark than...
Yeah, I believe that. He's acting off of an actual plank of wood. Yeah, the shark that showed up and it's just like floating. Looks like a fucking piece of wood.
It's like totally a piece of wood with just like prosthetic around it. Oh, yeah. That got me good. A score is next.
Dude,
one thing to call out is the beginning credits. It's like music by whoever did it, and then after it says Jaws theme by, because I looked up and it had Williams' name up there. As Mark was saying, Williams didn't do this one.
Yeah, well, because they have the credit Williams for the dun 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 that they don't actually use that much.
Yeah, I only heard it like once.
Yeah, and so they have this weird thing that goes like.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It's a really bad score.
Yeah, it's not good.
You know what's a movie that sucks, but has like a fucking magnificent score that I want to steal one day?
What?
The Vulture. It's this 1960s horror movie that is debatably the most boring movie I've ever watched in my life. But the score is so fucking haunting that I just want to use it.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, just look up the score. Don't watch the movie. The movie's so bad.
I want, I like the idea of watching a movie and being like taken out of it because the music's so good.
Yeah.
I kind of had that happen with Social Network, where I was like, dude, this is... I remember, I think I was with you. It might have been on a podcast too. I was like, man, Social Network has such a good, like... Oh, no. This was at work. I was like, the Social Network has such a good, like, score to it. And my friend Gabe was like, yeah, dude, that thing on vinyl is, like, super hard to find. It's super out of print. Everybody wants it. I was like, oh, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, good.
What's
and
next?
It's, what's the guy's name? Do you remember? He's the lead singer.
Renzer?
Yeah. Art direction's next, which I like 3, I guess.
I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
I really I like the layout of the park. I think they did a cool idea with that. It's not just like...
And this looks like a 70s...
Like, Jurassic World is boring. And that's in my head when I think of a theme park movie.
Well, Jurassic Park looks sick.
I don't remember Jurassic Park's, like, layout at all.
Oh,
but Jurassic World, I just picture that, like, it's like an overhead shot of, like, a fly-down shot.
Yeah.
Of, like, the street where all the gift shops are and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is not fun to look at.
Jurassic Park looks sick. I can guarantee you that.
I remember...
It's directed by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, what's the movie that has... Well, I mean, in the art direction, even just with the Jeeps, is sick.
Yeah.
But what's the one that has that big cage that all the pterodactyls are in?
3.
So I remember this part. I loved that.
Yeah.
Because it had those giant sky bridges going to it and everything. Yeah. That was wonderful.
Yeah, 3 rocks.
Better than this.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say that I think this is a better movie than The Lost World.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was 3.
No, that's 2.
Oh, okay.
It's the second one Steven Spielberg
made. Is it Fallen Kingdom, the third one?
Fallen Kingdom is like 5.
Oh my god.
There's
I think
6.
those are the only ones that I know the names of.
There's Jurassic Park, The Lost World, and then there's Jurassic Park 3, then there's Jurassic World, then there's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and then the Jurassic World Domain.
Bleh.
And they're all bad, except Jurassic Park 1.
Oh, and the last one's editing, which I can happily say 1.
Yeah, 1.
This is, again, I usually have trouble saying when directing is bad and when editing is bad. Like, deciding which one is at fault, I guess. And man, this one, it's definitely the editing.
Yeah.
And even the 3D stuff just takes you so far out of it, too.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like you're having trouble like figuring out what bad editing and bad directing is until you watch a bad movie, and then you like watch a good movie and you're like, oh, that's... I think like watching the Jaws movies is a good way to figure out how to make a movie.
No, that's a good point,
because you just watch Jaws 3 and then you watch Jaws, you're like, oh,
this makes sense.
That's how you make a movie. Like even Jaws 2 is like a masterpiece compared to this.
Oh yeah,
Jaws 2 is like a mediocre piece of shit. But like this is like a piece of shit. Yeah. This is I'm gonna hot take. I know Nikki's gonna disagree with me on this, but I think this is the worst movie me and him have watched on the show so far.
Yeah, I still think some of the lower Bond ones for me beat this. I would sooner watch this than Moonraker. Oh, I don't know if that's true.
You know, you're gonna watch this over Jaws, fucking trying to fly. Both have a Jaws in it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to conclude this episode of the show because this movie sucks. I don't want to talk about it any longer. Be sure to check in next week where we do Jaws, The Revenge, where we end our Jaws-a-thon. Thank you for listening, and have a good one.
Have a good one, everybody.
Redundant.